everybody, welcome back to Snow Talk. We knew it was coming back, of course, and here's one of the reasons why. And all you do is look at the stats, really. So far for the winter season here in Louisville, we've had half a foot of snow. Normally we average a little over a foot, about 12.5 for the entire season. So when we look at the month of March, our average is about 1.4. Last year we had a couple of traces. The year before that, half inch. Then we had the significant snowstorm in central Kentucky, over a foot in some areas, 2 feet in some in south central Kentucky, 4 inches in 2014, and not far from 2 inches of snow in 2013. So more often than not, we've had measurable snow. So yes, the odds are always in favor of going back into Snow Talk as you get into the month of March. So, question is this the last period of we'll be dealing with it, or are we going to go back to it again later? That always varies from year to year. Sometimes we do have to revisit it, and sometimes we're done with it for the entire season. We will watch it carefully. Since I'm on numbers, before we get into the forecast setup here, let's talk about more numbers. Don't forget to set your clocks ahead 1 hour this weekend. Saturday night, before you go to bed, or Sunday at 2 a.m. if you're going to be up, make sure to set it up 1 hour. If you don't, you will be late to where we got to go to Sunday morning. Don't forget to change your battery, of course, in your smoke detector as well. Spring, another countdown, 15 days. It'll be around noonish, I believe, for the vernal equinox on the 20th of March. Already getting the flowers coming out of the ground. Mine are coming up as well, and I'm hoping we do actually get some measurable snow to kind of insulate them a bit from any below freezing weather. Although right now, when it comes to the cold side of things, there's not a lot of like Arctic cold to talk about. Everything looks just cold enough for wintry weather, but not brutal. So I really think a lot of the bulbs and tulips and so forth that are coming up will be fine. Alright, so let's look at the radar trends today. Now you look at this like, oh, here comes the rain. Here's the issue today, though. We've got a good east wind. And so while aloft the moisture is being pushed at us, the east wind is really trying to do its best to kind of fight this back as long as it can until we lose that east wind, which will be this evening. So as long as that east wind is holding on strong, a lot of the rain would kind of just evaporate, and some shower activity may brush into our western counties, and I can rule it out. But I'm telling you right now, our dew point is really low, so we've got a lot of dry air being pumped in from the east, and that's really just disintegrating a lot of that rain band. Now, there's more of it to come back to the west, into portions of St. Louis, western Tennessee. I think eventually this will win out, and it will overtake the area tonight with some rain showers, about maybe 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. Not a lot. Here's one of the high-res models. You see the first roll band come at us by noon, and you'll see it then just fade out. So then we got to wait for the next surge to try to push its way in, and that's going to take it to the overnight to get in here. So this is going to be a nighttime event, it looks like, for a lot of us for the rain side, any rain or snow stuff, the mix anyway, up to the north. It moves out just in time for the morning commute tomorrow, but then the low it's attached to, the upper low, will begin to crank up and work its way to the south. Now it's an occluded low, so there's not a lot of cold air behind the front. It's just an area of low pressure, basically, which means we're not going to get really colder behind this for tomorrow. But the wind is going to be relatively strong, and it's going to pull in the wind direction from a west-southwest direction. That means we have a good chance to warm up, well into the 60s, in fact. I think the models are underplaying this. I think the wind's going to be strong and warm, and we'll have some sunshine. But then when that upper low, because it is colder aloft with it, it's not so much what's pulling down, it's how cold it is on its head. As that moves over us, then we see the effects of dynamic cooling kicking in, and we could get some rain and snow showers, and in some cases snow bursts that may move into the area by Wednesday morning. So a pretty good temperature drop will happen tomorrow night after a warm day, and that could allow for some accumulation to develop in some spots. Now the wind, as I mentioned, from the southwest is what's going to help get us into the 60s, gust over 30 miles per hour, looking quite likely out of that. Weather Service, they've already drawn up their map. I know it's hard to see where you are in there, but here's Jefferson County. They've already drawn up the map for any potential for very light coating of wet snow on the grassy areas. They've got areas north and east of Louisville, basically the bluegrass area of Kentucky, elevation a little bit higher, that's what they're aiming toward, and maybe a couple of little snow showers that could produce some snow west of here. It's very, very low-end scale stuff, guys, so not a big setup, and roads will likely just be wet, so any of the accumulation will be on grassy areas, and more than likely would melt off shortly after falling. But the darkest of night is the best chance to see some of that snow. It's going to be really hard to get the rain over to snow there in the daylight hours. The sun, its angle is getting up there now, so you got to fight that. And that right here, usually it's better to bet on the rain and the sun angle than it is to bet on the cooling effect. All right, so that's that system. Let's skip ahead here. It moves on by. Again, there's the rain, snow shower activity Wednesday, part of Thursday. But then we get really interesting setup here. We got a couple of waves One is going to come through here on Friday night, and it's going to lift our air up to where we're going to have the potential for maybe some rain or snow to the north of us develop. Right now I'm leaning toward rain with this for Friday. It'll blossom on top of us, so this is going to change on this forecast timing. But here's what's interesting, is the low pressure this is attached to gets a little more organized, whereas when into Sunday, it becomes a southern low, but we also get energy that is going to be the cold maker with this. It's got a lot of cold air, again, aloft with it. It wants to join the party, so it's going to merge and dive in with our main low. And when that happens, it's a tremendous amount of energy that happens here. A very deepening area of low pressure will form here across the Carolinas and off the East Coast. That deepening of that low pressure, deepening of the pressure in general, will allow for dynamic cooling to kick in, and we may get some decent banding of snow on the northwest side of that. This is a very interesting setup here with this upper low attaching to the main surface low, and some of the snow again could be a little bit enhanced. So it's been looking at you in the past couple days, but it continues to have that look that needs to be watched. It reminds me of 1996, March 20th. Very similar setup after that. We'll see what happens. When you look at even the 500 millibar, what you're looking at here is the energy. Dive in, advance so you can see a little better. It looks like a little bowling ball. Look at that, coming down through Missouri. And at this point, our southern low is over here. If it wasn't for this guy being involved at all, this would be just a rainmaker, a southern rainmaker, then it's out to sea. But the fact that this is coming in and diving in from the north, that is what is going to really spin around and just enhance and deepen this low for Sunday into Monday. And you can just see it happening right over the Smoky Mountains and the Carolinas. But still some issues with that. How quickly does it happen? The placement, timing could still be altered. This is only Monday. And if they don't line up exactly the way they could, then this could be mainly just a mountains snow event. The Appalachian Mountains may deal with snow, and that's it. We miss out completely on that, but have a cold weather set up for Sunday. So, for those of you heading to the St. Patrick's Day Parade on Saturday in the Highlands, stay tuned. We're watching it. Likely we'll still be in the warmer side of things on Saturday, so it's an issue of timing of rainfall. But once we move into Sunday, guys, we could get some interesting weather around our neck of the woods. So stay tuned, you Bots fans. We'll see how this one plays out.